I want next on Moody Booty, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Moody Booty Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Nashay, but you already knew that. It was something like that. So we are in the second dimension. I think that's what I'm going with. I think that's what I'm going to call this series, is something like the second dimension, because that's kind of what it feels like. Like, you get it. And I kind of like it. Okay, let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Just jumping right into it. Bro, tired as fuck. Tired as hell. Yeah. On my last break for work, I went to go take a nap, and I quite literally did not want to clock back in. Like, it took everything in me to get up, but we did that, and now we're off. I'm actually waiting for my mom. She'll be getting off in the next couple of hours. And I told her, I was like, let me know when you're outside, because I'm trying to go get something to eat. I don't know what I want. And I told her I did know what I wanted. Kind of want, like, maybe Olive Garden, but then I'm also really feeling something like a seafood bag. But those who know me know, I would probably just do, like, I would do the corn, potatoes, and sausage. That's it. And the eggs, if they have them, because sometimes they don't. But that's what I'm supposed to be doing for dinner. So I'm just kind of like passing by time, and I thought it'd be cool to film another episode, and I'm so excited. So the first one that I filmed, the second dimensional episode, the second dimension episode, the first time I filmed the first dimension, what I'm trying to say is, because basically what I'm calling this series Second Dimension, and so the first episode of the second dimension that I filmed the other day, I think I rewatched it the first day, but I didn't want to rush into it because I got really, really tired. So I put it away, and then I started to edit it the day after, and I didn't finish it until yesterday. And there's not major edits in there anyways, but the touch that I did, y'all see it. And if y'all haven't seen it, go watch it. But the touch that I did, where like I'm literally in like a TV, like, I don't know. I liked that. And so I uploaded it and I watched it. And it looks really, really nice. So here's hoping that the quality continues to be really, really nice. So there is that. I'm just excited. I'm excited to be here. And it feels comforting. I like the fact that I'm working on a project. One thing about me is, like, I've touched on this a couple of times, but the lack of consistency that I have with anything in my life is insane. Now, one thing I appreciate about a Sagittarius is we're highly optimistic, and I feel like we stay, what's the word, like, I don't know if intuitive would be a good word. Innovative. It's like, I feel like Sagittariuses are very creative, and we're looking to, we just have so many ideas, right? But for me, and I feel like a lot of Sagittariuses could agree, we're on to the next thing real quick. So there's like 17 unfinished ideas, plans, projects that are literally just on to the next thing, because now I have something else I want to do. Like, for me, off tops, right? I bought, like, and let me say bought very lightly, because my mom definitely bought it for me, but I wanted to get the, like, Invisalign braces, but I went through the company called Smile Direct, something like that. Bought that. Asked me if I finished it. Something, for one, that was already purchased. And it's like, girl, just pop them in your mouth. They're literally sitting under my bed with hella dust. Or, like, I bought hella shit for yarn because I wanted to make a temperature blanket. That's deep in my closet. Another thing that's deep in my closet, it was a project where I was like, oh, I should start my own, like, personal, small business. So I'm not going to talk about what I was doing, because maybe one day I'll come out with it, but literally bought the products to create this thing. When I say down to the labels, deep in my closet. Okay, let's keep going here. I have hella unboxed, unopened Amazon packages, literally from the top of my wall down to the floor, unopened. I was in this period where I was like, oh, I read one book. I love books now. Let's cash out on a whole library. And it's not really a library, but like my whole TV stand is filled with these books. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, at least close to maybe like 200, if not more, dollars were spent on these books, and I still only read that one. Like right now, you're actually sitting on it because remember in the last episode, I told you I don't have that tripod because the situation, and you're still sitting on, you're still sitting on the Spencer box propped against my dirty clothes hamper, but now you're also sitting on a book. You're sitting on a book because I wanted to make you higher. Oh, because when I watched that one video back from the second dimension, or this dimension, but like the first episode, it looked a little low, so I'm sorry about that. If you were able to bear with me, I love you so much. But anyways, so yeah, it's just all unfinished all the time, and I can't really tell you why I brought this. Oh, that's why I went on a whole rant. Yo, really quick, I'm the exact same way with like vitamins and supplements. Take it a step further, I'm like that with soaps, shampoos, conditioners. Like I almost like cling to one thing or the idea of one thing, or like I like the look of it hella much, and so I'll keep buying that same thing, like, oh, this will take off, and then it just sits there and it gets wasted, and I'm like, I can't help but see all the fucking dollar bills that I've been wasting for no damn reason. Like, ugh, makes me sick. But the reason why I brought that up is because I think I've even said this before in a podcast, if I'm not mistaken, about a different type of video. I don't even remember. It sounds very familiar though. So with the Dimension series, I'm excited because this is a project that I can actually work on where I don't have to say anything to anybody and I can kind of just work with myself. I feel like that will keep it very organic and fresh, and it's going to be on my terms, and I won't feel pressured like, oh, I said I was going to upload on this day and this day. I feel like how I'm choosing to film and when I'm choosing to release, I'll have so much time to accumulate so many videos to where I would like to think that it's always going to feel very organic and genuine because I'm just filming with you guys. I don't have to like rush to come up with a topic or an order of things and have it up by this date. Like, I'm just chilling, So I really, really like that. There's that. Let's see here. So have you guys ever had like a payday? In my case, it's like all my paydays where like the money is already spent before I get it. Like today I just got paid and I already forked out between about, as soon as the check hit to now, it's only 4, I spent about $800. I am disgusted. Sorry, excuse me. Disgusted. And I'm happy. Like, it was so great. All of it was spent for bills. And it made me happy because I'm like, it pained me, right? Like, it pained me. But thank you, God. Like, thank you. I thanked God from everything that I could imagine to thank him for. I'm like, bro, thank you. Not bro. God. I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. But I'm so thankful from me being able to have a phone, to make electric payments, to be able to have a job, to be able to have the overtime, to have been able to gain contact, to have effortless, easy, painless payments. Because sometimes, you're on a waiting thing, or it's just so many different little things, and I was just so thankful. Like, I just kept, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, God. Like, I was just so freaking thankful. So it pained me to get rid of that money, but I'm just so thankful to now have that behind me. And I know so much more is coming back to me. And I've been doing a lot of overtime lately, so it was just a really, really great situation. Like, thank you for the job that I have. Thank you for the overtime I've been getting. Thank you for the pay. Thank you for it being payday. Thank you for the due dates working right around payday to where it just all worked out. Like, I am just so very thankful. And yeah, so that was my day. So in the second dimension, right, like where we're at, I feel really, really good what I'm about to say. And I know really my mom probably wouldn't even give a fuck, but I will say this. So like when we first moved in together, all the utilities are in my name just because that's how it worked out. Oh, because I moved into this place first. So anyways, when stuff got turned on, like the lights and all this other stuff, I put it in my name. And so, bro, I have sucked big dick. Like, when I say, like, it sucks because SMUD and PG&E and stuff like that, there's so much of like a back here type of bill. And as crazy as that is, like, girl, it's like literally what helps operate your whole apartment. But it's like, if I can't see it, like, I'm not thinking about it. And then, like, not trying to be funny, this is so not funny. Like, I'm so grateful. Like, I'm literally so grateful. But like, your phone gets shut off. Like, once that bill is just not paid. At least for my phone company. It's off, girl. You kind of got to pay it, right? You could literally be, I hate to say it because I feel so fucking terrible because it's really not funny. But it's like, bro, like, you literally could be late on certain utility bills. Depending on where you live. Out here, it's like you could be late for months. And, like, it will just rack up. The thing about it is it will definitely rack up, right? But anyways, and I always pay it. But I let that bitch rack up. So today I had logged into, like, one of the utility portals. And that bitch, it literally, quite literally touched almost $800 for just one of them. And I was sick to my stomach. So I had put 3 down. And that's just what it was. But when it comes to that, my thing is this. Give me time. Give me time, because you guys know it's the summertime and, like, you know things are going to be high, because what? And I also have a, like, AC in my room because I'm so hot, and then in the summertime, like, I just need the AC on. So I know that that's what was really, really running it up. But I was like, surely this isn't really almost $800. Like, surely not. And it definitely was. So we put, pay some of that, and then it was just a whole thing. So it's just so funny because, like, I never, like, really get my mom involved, like, with like, bills or anything. If I need help with it, I'll ask her for it. But, like, if I can do it by myself, I'll just try to pay it by myself. So that's what I did for that one. And it's just funny because I don't think she really realizes how bad it actually is. And I'm so thankful because it's like, by the time she even sees this, if she sees this, like, if she watches this, it's like, girl, we're not even going to be living together no more. So I feel better, So there is that. I kind of wanted to just, like, catch you guys up on my day. I'm not going to lie. Like, I knew I wanted to film today. And it's like, today was a good day. But like how I was talking about in, like, the last episode, it's like, hopefully you're watching these in order, but in the last episode, I basically talked about a new event that took place in my life, going through this breakup and things like that. So today I caught myself, just, like, walking around the block again, running my, just, like, thinking about so many things. And today was actually more of like it was like a growing pain, and it was positive. It was like realizing more, picking up more on what happened, and being realistic with myself. I think when you are in a storm mixed with the time frame you've been in that place, it could be very easy to be very forgetful and forget certain things. One of the things for me that, like, I feel like is a refresher is to, if you have any, like, old text messages or videos or notes or diary entries, to really go back and kind of peep, like, how you were thinking, how you were speaking. Ooh, I'm actually getting a call right now. I'm gonna answer it. Hold on. Sorry. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, girl.
Hi.
I'm actually filming right now, but what's up?
Hi, channel.
Here, hold on. Let me put it closer to you. What'd you say?
Hey, team. What y'all doing?
Oh, we just chilling. We were just talking about you, actually.
No way. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
Ah.
You are an amazing person, and I just was calling you to tell you that. And I love you so bad, and I gotta go.
You gotta go?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, well, did you see my text message?
Yeah, did you see mine?
No, I didn't. I didn't even know you texted me. Hold on.
If you're gonna post this, I'm gonna get it.
Let me see that
Like,
one.
quick little flower, like, it doesn't look. See, I messed it up, but see what happened was I'm working with a pen,
Uh-huh.
and I messed up. But if you look up the flower, that's the purpose of it. I went above and beyond. I didn't just do any old flower.
You went above and beyond.
Yeah, I went and picked a flower that had some meaning behind it. So go check that out.
Is that what you wrote? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yes. I'm gonna go look it up. I can't wait to see what it says.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
I definitely would love to. What made me excited about this is because I actually want to draw a flower now. Now I have something to do. And so I actually want to, sketch you out an actual flower. Like, that was some quick at work on break in the car.
Thank you for doing that. I love you so bad. And when you draw the second one, send that one to me too. I want to see how it comes out.
Okay. What is this for, though?
I just wanted to see, like, how you drew.
That was, like, not how I draw.
Okay. That's why I said when you do your second one, send it to me.
What you got up your sleeve, girl?
Well, you don't have to. I was just asking.
I want to. I was just saying, what you got up your sleeve?
I literally have nothing up my sleeve. I literally just wanted to see you draw.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've been trying to sketch lately, so I was like, hold on, let me see what Joy's got.
Yeah.
How long do you have on your break?
17 minutes.
Oh, we're on a lunch. Period. Okay, well, hold on. Let me pause this. We'll be right back, you guys. I'm going to talk to my friends on her lunch break because that's what friends do. Say bye.
Bye, guys.
Okay, so I'm back now. I was on the phone with Joyce for a little bit. So really quick, when me and her were on the phone earlier, to backtrack just a little, earlier today, I was messaging her and I said, hey, like, when you have a second, can you draw me out a flower on your break or something? Sure enough, she said she draws out the flower and she sent it to me, and I just looked at it when we were on the phone, and I just love her. But it was funny because, like, once I stopped recording, she was like, what are you up to or whatever, and I was just like, nothing, I already told you, like, I just wanted to see. She's like, it's giving you're up to something. And it's funny because I very much am up to something, and I can talk about it right now in the second dimension because it is what it is. But basically, I may change it up in the future because I'm not really trying to rush into it, but I very well just may use what she sketched out for me. But I was looking to get a tattoo. I really like, especially like with the fake tattoos that I've been using like on my body, I kind of like really want to start my sleeve, and I would love for a symbol of our friendship to be like incorporated in that sleeve or just somewhere eventually. And so I was like, a flower would be really, really nice. And so she sent me something, and she actually asked me to look up what that flower meant, and I haven't done it yet, so I'll get back to you guys, but I'm excited to see like what the meaning behind it is. So there is that. I wanted to touch on that. I know I wanted to bring it up with you guys, but she was on the phone, so I was like, okay, I have to remember that and go over it with you guys now. But what I was talking about before she called, since the breakup, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, like, even before the breakup, I feel like I really was trying to dig, because I'm trying to stay on topic without giving too many examples, because then I'll talk about 1,000 different things. But before the breakup, I feel like I really genuinely was trying to do my best to really dig within to see if there's anything at all that I could fix, because nobody's perfect, and I know that there was, I knew that there was things, there just had to be things, because I know I'm not perfect. But it was hard to pinpoint what those things were. Like, genuinely, I was just like, I'm doing this. Or if I did see a problem, I genuinely felt like I was actively trying to fix certain things, right? And so the breakup happened, and him and I on Instagram had a really, really long thread. And I wanted to just kind of scroll up from the beginning just to kind of have like a sense of just like reminiscing, I guess. And this was like last week sometime, but I scrolled all the way up to the top, and I think it went all the way up to like 2019 or something like that. I don't even remember. But, you know, closer to the top, but not, maybe more so closer to the middle, but more of like the top of like the beginning. Hopefully that made sense. I was like scrolling down and still like in like maybe around like 2020, 2021. And it was just crazy. So going back to what I was saying before Joyce called, I feel like for me a couple like last week, it was like full circle moment of exactly what I was looking for, to see like what could I be changing, or what could I have what could I have changed, what could I have fixed. And anyways, going back to when I was scrolling through our old Instagram messages, I taking responsibility of being like, sometimes the way you talk can be taken very rude or dismissive. And I wish I had more words right now to describe that. But like, I had scrolled and I looked at one of the responses. So this is a very old conversation. I mean, he probably doesn't even remember this, but just the way I saw how I would go about things in the past, like, very dismissive. And I feel like it's just like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like, you just have to be very, very careful with how you go about things, because that's exactly how you're perceived. And even if I could sit there and break down, oh, well, I said it like this because he said this, it's like, it's always going to be a domino effect, but you really are in control of you and how you come off, and again, how you're perceived. And in a relationship, how you're perceived is very important. And I think somewhere between then and now, just certain things got overlooked. For me, speaking about myself, I feel like things got overlooked. Like, even if I felt like at that time I had a reason for it, it's just like reeling back and really wanting to work on myself. And that's genuinely what I'm excited for with this new chapter that I'm in, this new season, because I really want to work on myself. And I'm still learning exactly what that means and what areas need work. But I know for that example, it's just at least working on maybe my tone or my speech, the things I say or the things that I don't say. And I feel like that would alone go a long way. And I think even with that, it would work on other things like stress or frustration, anger, because I think I need to work on talking to somebody how I'd want people to talk to me. I'm a very sarcastic person, but I'm also very like, I like to be talked to very gently. And I figure the next person would like to be talked to gently, you know? So, and again, so going back to a couple months ago where I was, or even like the last year, just like really trying to figure out, like, really working on myself for the relationship. I do think that I've come a long way with how I spoke to him, for sure. Or even if we weren't even in an argument, but just like, say like if you're on the outside looking in on somebody else's situation and they're venting, it's like being careful with how you give them ideas or how you give them the real, right? And so you want to like be gentle about it because you don't know what mind state they're in. Even when it has nothing to do with you, they could be talking about work or something going on within the family, or just them feeling maybe a little bad about themselves. It's like you being very gentle about it. So I know that I was working on that, but going back to like last week, I mean, it's not about sometimes what you're working on rather than maybe the damage that you did. And certain things aren't, even though you may want to forgive somebody, or even though you may want to move on, sometimes it's still hurtful, and certain things that were done in the past just can't be taken back. And that's one thing I want to realize about myself. Like, one day when I'm in a new relationship, going about it completely different, because I can't read my ex's mind, but I'm sure some of the things, how I went about stuff, or what I didn't want to talk about, what I didn't see was a problem, still chiseled at the relationship or his view on me, how he perceived me, right? So, yeah, it was, like I said, a full circle moment, being able to be like, you need to pocket, and then also spreading it to other parts of your life, like in your friendships and your family, just, so I really want to work on that, tough, and I know it's not going to be easy, because when you are, that's why people always say, like, if you're talking about an older person, like, oh, they're set in their ways, they're 70 years old, and it's just like, well, I'm 26, and as much as I would like to think, like, well, I'm set in my way, I could really, really work on that, you know? So that was one of the things that I was thinking about today. And then I came across this one video, excuse me, came across this one video, and it was like an hour long, and it was these two guys having a conversation about relationships. I think one of them was like a monk, and then the other one was some sort of relationship coach. And so they had a really, really good conversation, and a lot of it I was able to place within my own life of things for me to keep a lookout on, even a bit of validation that I was able to get from that video, and just also like new interesting fun facts. It was almost like they were able to like add up certain things. And one of them was, it was actually, hopefully, again, like I said a couple minutes ago, I really do hope that you are watching these videos in order. But in the last video, so mind you, I watched that YouTube video today. So in my last video that I recorded, I touched on, which was filmed a couple days ago, I touched on how I felt like the way him and I connected was so organic, but I feel as though maybe me and him dragged out what should have been maybe like a year thing, a year-long thing, maybe even a couple months thing. We dragged it out to a 7-year relationship. Not to say that it was all bad, and not to say that there weren't many beautiful parts of our relationship. It's just looking back at it, it's just like, damn, like, if only you guys had enough self-composure to be like, hey, let me just enjoy this for the time being. Maybe we would be in different spots. Maybe we would feel differently about each other. Maybe if we went a little bit slower in the relationship, maybe it could have still been beautiful. I mean, who knows? But going back to the video that I saw today, that was exactly what one of the guys said. He was just like, oftentimes people think it's one thing and they're infatuated, and basically they think that they're in it for the right reasons, but it doesn't end up being for the right reasons. And then one of the guys said, he was like, for something, he was like, you probably were supposed to be involved with this person for only a couple months, and then you, in a blink of an eye, like, you're in a whole marriage with them, and it was never enough for you. Why are you still there? And he went into it a little longer on it. If I have the title of that video, I'll try to go find it later, and I'll try to edit it in, like, at least like the hyperlink or something. But it was a really, really nice video, and like I said, it was like, it just, I got a lot from it, and I was very, very thankful for it. Like, one of the things I had wrote down a note while I was watching it, actually, one of the things that stuck out to me was him talking about mishandling love. And I genuinely feel like, me talking about me, I genuinely feel like I was mishandling our love, our relationship. And I can say, if I could pinpoint it, I would honestly say for the first 2 years, I could really say that I was mishandling the love. Now, the first year, that was when we were I was in New York, and it wasn't like I was horrible or anything like that. It was just like, this partner of mine was my very first real relationship. And one of the things that I'll talk about later on is I deal, and I've always had really bad anxiety. I've always been very self-conscious. I've always overthought, especially when it came to like relationships or like romantic anythings. I just always felt like, oh, nobody couldn't really ever be really interested in me, or maybe I'm not as attractive, or I just never really felt like I was in that light. So mishandling him for a second, him coming to me and showing me how much he's interested in me, and being very vocal on how he wanted to do certain things with me, spending his life with me, like, I feel like I didn't really know how to take that in, because I'm like, for one, I've never had it before, for one. For two, even when I was dealing with any romantics, anything, it was never with a male. And I feel like I always had views on that. Like, I just never really saw myself being comfortable with a man, and I never really saw my life being that way. Like, I was always very uncomfortable. I always felt more, I felt safer with a woman. which is a whole other thing. But anyways, so when he came up into my life and then we started, being more affectionate and loving with each other, it was like so new to me, and I wanted to run away. Like I was just like, it was too much. It was very overstimulating, and I felt like it was getting very real very fast. And I also knew that being long distance isn't ideal for, I would almost say anybody, but for most people it's not ideal, right? So I knew that the long distance things would slowly come to an end, and I think that's when I was getting more frantic, because I'm like, oh my god, the long distance thing is going to have an expiration date because one of us is going to have to move closer to the other one, and I just got very overwhelmed. So and then just like when you're new with anything, right? Like sometimes for teenagers, when they have their first job, they might fuck it off, or they might fuck off their first check because you don't really see the importance or truly hold the value in something that is new for you. And again, I don't think that I ever like looked at him like he was nothing less than or trash, nothing like that, but more of so like, I just wish that I took it more seriously. Even in that sense, just really plunged into more vulnerability. People talk about, like, a lot of women right now are talking a lot about their soft girl era. I really wish that I plunged into that, and I just was embracing myself and even like my worries, or just like the ugly parts of what I was really really worried about in the relationship, rather than hiding from the relationship, if that makes sense. That's where I feel like the first year I was mishandling it, even though I don't think that it was done out of like spite or, in a negative way. I do still feel like that's ultimately what it was, right? So then moving back to Cali, was the first physical year we were together. And that is also where, so for everything I just said, like with the first year, I still carried it into the second year of being with him. But then it was also more of like I want to take accountability for what I'm about to say, but I also want to give backstory to where maybe it would make more sense. I want to be careful with my words because I don't want to make it seem like I'm blaming anybody, right? But I just caught myself, I think in that end, it was just more of like I think I was really walking around like a queen, if that makes sense. Like, just queen. And I'm trying to find the words because I don't want to ramble and I don't want to talk out my ass. But hold on, give me a second. Queen, sassy, attitude-ish, like, also like almost wanting I don't want to say maybe even baby. Let's like not sugarcoat it. If I saw it from somebody else, maybe even babied a little bit. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And I also want to take back for a second and say that wasn't like my complete aura. It was just when I felt a vibe, like I was more of like like I said, just very sassy, I think. And I really do feel like that comes along with really mishandling love. But again, so going back to how I said I wanted to give backstory, I wanted to give you like the blunt and raw. That's why I used those words, like very sassy, came off very attitude-ish, and queen like. But keep in mind that so I would consider that really the first year of us physically starting a relationship, but that was the second year of us being together. And I was still so in love. So we were still very great. That I say all the time, our first 2 years to 2.5 years was the best part of our relationship. But me kind of going through the timeline of seeing like how I would act, like say if there was more so arguments or if I was upset about something, that's where like those bolder words were coming out, like being very sassy, attitude-ish. My communication was awful. And that was that. So going back to the backstory, I was really, really thinking, because I feel like sometimes how you are as an adult, you really have to like find those answers or those reasons and dig back in your childhood. Try it. But for me, I look at my role model to be my mom, who what I'm about to say, I feel like sometimes how you act, you are like that no matter what, right? But I feel like certain people in your life really get the short end of the stick with how you are, even if you're like that with everybody. So like, I feel like the way I am, I'm like that naturally, but I feel like the relationship with my ex really got a lot of that. So going back to what I was going to say was my role model in my childhood, my mom. My mom raised me and my siblings as a single parent. You know, she called the shots, she called the rules. And I feel like with a lot of that came with a lot of responsibility and a lot of power. Not so much in a negative way, but like, you know, you're running shit. And we always grew up, like, even if we got into a little debate with her mom, or just like a little, like, it got spicy in the house, we always heard from her, oh, you're always going to need me before I need you. I don't need you for anything. Like, that, and that's just what it was, right? So for me and my sisters, I feel like we're very prideful in knowing, regardless of who I got or who I don't got, I got shit, and I got shit held down, and I'm gonna figure it out, and I don't need you, and that sort of thing, right? And so I'm like that with a lot of people. Like, it's just, for me, I'm also very much like, deuces, bye, like, don't care. So that's why I said the words queen, sassy, attitude-ish, very independent, where it can come off almost like, humble yourself a little, girl. Like, I know that you got you, but also come off a little bit where, like, you're being realistic and sensible. Like, because I know you don't need me, but if I'm gonna be here, there needs to be a level of at least respect in the room, to where, again, you could be reasonable. You guys could have a conversation like, are you reasonable enough to know your place, and know that I'm a part of your life, to where we could talk anything out? Can you put a sentence together? Are you going to be on hush the whole time? And that's exactly how I was. Like, I would never walk around the house like, you ain't shit, get the fuck out of my house. Like, it wasn't nothing like that, but it was just more of like, I'm not about to argue with you. Like, okay, take it how you want. Like, and I wouldn't say anything at all, or I would be quick to be like, okay, fine, so what are we doing? Like, it wasn't like a, and I know when I watch this back later, I'm going to wish that I said this, and this, but this is life right now, or this is live right now, and if I have anything to add on to it in the future, I will. But I'm appreciating this video, right? But I'm also hating that all I'm talking about is the negative parts of myself, because there was literally so much good. I mean, literally, like, there was also so much love around that time. But me doing my full circle moment and talking simply just about my negatives right now, that was, I feel like, a really huge part of it. Now, another thing I want to say is, for me, right, for somebody who's trying to do all the fixing, not all the fixing, but in this moment, for me, when you are trying to fix stuff, you look at it like, yeah, I did this, that, and the third, but like, look at how long I have been fixing it, or look at all the things I have done right? But for the person, while you were fucking up, or while you made mistakes, the other person was getting that end of it. And even though they may see you working on certain things, it may be harder for them to be like, that's great, but like, I'm still damaged in these areas. And maybe no matter how much you're working towards these things, or maybe no matter how long you've been fixing these things, there's still damage that just can't be undone here. And I am going to have to, eat that up and swallow that. It's a full circle moment. It's a full circle moment to kind of go back. And again, everything's a domino effect, and every reaction, how is it? Every action has a reaction, or something like that. That was some of the things, like watching that video, in short, or trying to stick to the point. Watching that video today, it was just like a full circle moment of like taking me back to my childhood, and almost being like, not to say it's right, but being like, that makes sense. Going back to my childhood, there's so many examples as a role model, somebody who you grew up with, who is slightly a bit older than you, right? Where you're able to see certain things and you rub off on them, you pick up on certain things. Kids are sponges. What you were around, even if it's unknowingly, you just mimic naturally that role model, that example for yourself. So how I went about squashing, or the lack thereof of squashing, certain arguments in my personal life, I feel like definitely the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, in other areas, like with your mom. For my case, it would be with my mom. So the whole "I don't need you," or like uh "you're gonna need me before I need you," even if I didn't physically say that to people, that's how I'm acting. Or another thing, just watching how your example for yourself as a child was with their own personal love relationships. And I do feel like truly the first couple of years of being with my ex, I was unfortunately like that. And I definitely could imagine that didn't feel good, just to feel like there's a difference between being there for your woman because you're just like, I'm here and I know she don't need me and it's peaceful, versus really feeling like you're not shit because you know your woman don't need you. And I do feel like there was parts of the relationship where that's exactly how he felt. And it was so hard for me. Like, I just wish that, like, in certain conversations that we had, I just wish that, like, on my end where I could have used work, or I could have gave a little bit more understanding, or I could have just met him in the middle. I wish I was that. And vice versa. I wish in moments where he could have gave me a little bit more understanding or met me in the middle. I just wish it could have been that. And it's so crazy because, like, sometimes when you're out the storm, you see all the curvy roads and the twists and the turns and red flags on both sides. And I'm really, really sorry that it took this long. But even granted, like I said, it wasn't like all this shit went unnoticed and 7 years later I'm just, oh my God, I woke up. At a point in time, I do believe both of us did try to fix certain things about ourselves for the relationship. But a lot of times, again, once so much damage is done, it doesn't matter if they just miraculously became this perfect person and so did you. It's like, bro, now we're so different. Or again, the way I perceive you now is just different. I can't really look past that. And then some people, they can go through way worse, way more, for way longer, and they're just as accepting and they're just as in love, and maybe that's meant for them. But for me, right, and then another part of the video is one of the guys who was like, it's not, he was like, even if that person is for you, understand that they may not be for you right now. And that's exactly another thing that I was talking about in my last video. If me and him even, and I'm not banking on it, like, it is what it is, but even if we did get back together in the future, I know that right now in my spirit, we need to be apart, So during this time, whether it be him in the future or just somebody else, I'm just excited to really, really grasp all of what I can get from this right now. And really working on myself. Like, I genuinely want to be better going forward. I want to be better. I want to feel better. I want to act better. I want to be not new. I want to be so much more improved, and I want to be so much more self-aware, because if anything, one of the things that I feel like I was really saying in this video is how much I really was not self-aware. And then also picking up on things just simply too late, As far as my attitude, I feel like my attitude did come off very ugly and immature because my communication sucked ass. Like, one thing about me, and I'm still like this, and that I really, really want to fix indefinitely, is how silent I can get. Like, I can, if there's a problem, like, I'm just on mute for two reasons usually. One, if I feel like I can't talk to you, if I feel like whatever I'm about to say is going to make it worse, if I feel like it's not going to fix anything, if I feel like you are not in a headspace to communicate with me in a way where there's a solution, I don't want to talk. If I already can foresee how it went based off of how it's gone in the future, I don't want to talk, and I won't. Or I'm already too riled up, and I know if I say something, it's not going to do too much. So a third thing is really, like, really accepting how you really need to have enough humility And you need to lower your ego and your pride and be able to just simply have a conversation, because these things are going to happen, and I really need to let go of the recycle bin. I feel like a lot of the times I'm so easy to dispose of relationships, friends, family, romantic, and I I know that why I do it. I'm like, I want a peaceful life. If it's not working out, it's not working out. I don't want to force it. I'm not going to talk to you. It is what it is, right? But I feel like it's just like, girl, you got to grow up. Like you got to grow up. Like, you love these people, and these things that come up are fixable. Just have some humility and lower your ego to be able to just walk up to somebody, even if it's something that you're hurt about. Just having enough reason to be like, I love this person. Let me just tell them what upset me, and let me be mature enough to just talk it out, rather than being like, you know? And again, that's something I genuinely want to fix. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because I know it's not. I've been this way for a very long time. But, you know, it doesn't want to end. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. And I'm here right now talking about it. So, like, you know, I'm trying. Let's see. I did write down a couple of notes. So I'm going to try to... so another thing, going back to my childhood, one thing that I wrote down here is a lack of feminine energy. I definitely feel like... so the video that I was watching, right? It was talking about, like, you know, so, and you'll see it on social media, you know, people giving their piece. Like, if you're in a relationship and you don't allow a woman to be in her feminine energy, then of course she's going to be more masculine, and no woman just wants to be masculine and all these things. And it's so crazy, because, like, when it comes to that, I genuinely feel like... I really feel like I love to be light and bubbly and soft and that way. And so I know it's in me, but I genuinely do feel like the relationship itself did put me in a place where I found myself over the years just more and more masculine. If you're the only one in the kitchen, running the back end, the front end, placing the orders and all this other stuff, it's going to be very hard to be like, now I have time to do this and to be light and da-da-da. Like, I would have loved to have been in a relationship where, like, we both were able to delegate, and it was, in a sense, equal enough to where it felt right, and there wasn't too much pressure on one person. And I feel like at that time, especially the second year of us being together, but the first year of physically being around, I feel like that set a lot of the foundation of how I acted or how I went about things, because I felt like I had a lot more of the I don't want to say masculine roles, because anybody can do it, but when you're in a relationship, it should essentially be equal. I feel like it just wasn't equal. Say you're in a business and it's just you running everything. It's just you having to come up with the ideas. It's just you having to financially fend for the business, or you're staying after hours to clean like, you're doing the ins and outs of everything. And it's like, how much better would that business be if you had the space to be able to delegate certain roles of that business? That way you had more time to really appreciate the essence of the business. And not to say that you don't expect hard days, hard times, those are going to come, but when a lot more of the pressure is on you to have to worry about things that should naturally be equal, I feel like it's very easy to come off stressed, which then I feel like pushes out masculinity, where you're more stern, you're more, you know, and then also I feel like when you have a lot of pressure on you in that way, where things just ultimately don't feel equal, I feel like a lot of the masculine parts come out, because now you have to feel, instead of being equal, instead of being light and airy and happy, you have to come off strong, because, like, you're the only one there, it seems like, and you're also having to, like, regulate, and you're busy trying to hold certain things up. And I feel like that's where a lot of the masculine stuff started to come about, because then you also feel a little let down, you know, for certain things to be coming up, or when certain things just, I'm not going to say don't go your way, but where certain things after a while you look over and it's like, it's been like this for so long. Sorry, with the mic, but I feel like it's very, very easy, like I said, for the two energies to be conflicted because you want to be one way, but then it's like the other energy is overflowing because you're like, bro, you know? And I'm sorry that that just felt very like over the surface, because I really don't, like I said in my last episode, I genuinely don't want this to be a bashing session. But that's definitely how I was made to feel throughout the relationship. And that sucks. That definitely really, really, really sucks. I do hope that in the future, I can just really be like, I just hope that by the time I'm in a new relationship, right, that I'm put together and I've ironed out my own wrinkles in my own closet, to where when I do get with somebody and they're put together, that it's just, it could be the most beautiful thing. You know, again, still considering the if, ands, buts, and the arguments and the hard times or whatever. I know that real life shit's still going to happen even in the best of relationships. I totally get that. But I'm just excited to see what's out there in a way where I know that it will be a perfect fit in this imperfect world. So I'm excited. I'm excited to, like, even being single, I think it's very, very realistic and achievable to, while I'm single, especially find my feminine energy and really just embrace that, you know? Because I feel like for me, and a lot of people can't be single, and I get that. For me, I almost enjoy it. I feel at my freest self when I'm single. I feel good, and I feel like, again, I feel like it's genuinely going to be completely achievable. So we'll see what happens. But I really wanted to talk about that and just kind of, like I said, just have that full circle moment of where I went wrong. And I know over the next, until the end of time, I'm still going to pick up on just where I could have done better. And those are a couple of ways where I genuinely wish I just had the answers then, and, you know, I was able to act right. I can't fault myself for saying, well, I wish I didn't love him the way he needed, because if I'm not the one, I'm not the one, period, you know? That's like trying to wake up to, I wish I knew how to be, you know, another race that I'm genuinely just not. It's never going to happen. So why are you going to beat yourself up over it? And that's how I feel about this. Like, I hope that, because it's not me, I genuinely hope that what I could at least give to you is, I hope that you find somebody that is completely and overly capable of giving you exactly that. And by giving that to you would mean to release you. And that's where, you know, where I'm at with that. Like, it just sucks. It sucks. Like when you grow such a fond feeling of somebody, and you know that they are so great on so many levels, and you almost see a vision of being like, I know we could have been great together. But you know, what I would say at the last couple of years of our relationship, I was like, I just feel like we're just two different pieces of a puzzle, and we're trying to fit them together. And it just wasn't that, you know? And I hope that eventually, giving it some time for us to breathe and heal and patch ourselves up to be better individually for ourselves individually, I hope that if it's meant, that we could at least find each other back in our lives to at least be friends. I would even take acquaintances, like maybe adding each other back on social media, or maybe meeting up occasionally just to go get something to eat or something, you know, because I feel like we're still very good people, and I would just love to reconnect with you again, if, again, the time fits itself, and if it was appropriate and it felt right. Like, that would be really, really dope, because he was still really, really cool, really, really cool person. But yeah, I just wish that I knew. Yeah, I just wish that we could have loved each other in those ways, and that it could have been that. And I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the what ifs and should ifs and could have and wishes and all this other stuff, because it just wasn't. And like I said in my last episode, I'm still happy that like we had each other for the amount of time that we did, for the good, for the bad. Like it definitely got, you know, upsetting or scary or difficult. It's almost like flashing before your eyes of like losing somebody and like, wow, this is like really getting real. But I'm just so happy that like for the last 7 years I was paired with him, and I at least have all the memories and all those experiences. That's why I said it's like, it's a bittersweet, because, you know, essentially maybe when stuff doesn't work out, you're like, damn, I wasted all that time. But like when you look at the way of life, and for you individually, for your way of life, it's almost like say if you were stuck in traffic and you're pissed about being stuck in traffic, but then when you make it to work, you see on the news or somebody in the break room tells you, oh my God, did you see that accident on the exact freeway you were on or about to head on? And you're like, damn, like I was really in that exact spot at that exact time for a very specific reason. So that's how I feel about the relationship too. I'm just like, maybe we got paired together and we made a 7-year relationship out of something where it's just like, maybe I was your safe space. Maybe you were my safe space. Like we got each other through things, you know. Maybe I saved you from having a baby on somebody, or maybe you saved me from, maybe I needed to leave New York. I mean, there's so many different reasons where it's just like, shit, bro. Like, you feel me? But, yeah, so there is that. I really wouldn't take it back. I just wish it worked out differently, but that's the whole point. I feel like this is exactly how it was supposed to work. Like, one of the things my mom's been trying to tell me is like, girl, you're 26. Like, I know you don't feel young, but you are still so young. And I appreciate that because, bruh, so many things had happened even before the relationship, like in my own life, that I'm just like, I feel like I kept like hitting like that stump. It was like flashing before my eyes, like my age, like my biological clock. I was just, you know, so like her saying that just really does make me feel good and almost regrounds me to be like, you have so much more time. So as far as the relationship, that was a long relationship, but I still have so much more time. And I love going out and like you see people of all ages still going out doing their thing, you know, and it just gives me more motivation to be like, girl, like, you're good. You got all the time. Take your time. And next time, let it be genuine. Let it be, just let it be better. But take your time because you got that. You got time. And that's all really I got to say about downwind. I have faith in myself and in my situation that it's all going to work out and it's going to make sense. And essentially, it's only going to go up from here. And I'm going to continue to be placed on a better path, right? And I want you or anybody that you know that's going through a similar thing, to know that it's the same for you. Like, your life is going to be so great, and you literally do not need to know all the ins and outs right now. You just take it day by day. Take it day by day and just have trust in yourself. And as long as you know, I'm starting this day off and I'm intending for it to be better than yesterday, and you keep telling yourself that for every new day that you see, good shit's coming out of that. Good shit's coming out of that. Period. Point fucking blank. I'm going to leave that here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or night, whichever one you are in. And I'll see you in my next dimensional video. Bye.